Well, hello there. My name is Hendershot and I welcome you to this co-op adventure called Solstice Showdown. Season changed to autumn and the challenge this week is to drive our A-class car to the finish line in 3 dirt events. Type of car for this would be Rally Monsters. I wouldn't call the car I chose a monster per se, only a car with a very unpronounceable name. I will be driving, and now bear with me here, the Subaru number 199 WRX STI VT15R rally car from 2016. Glad I got that out of the way. Why I chose this car? Because of its handling, of course. It is not the most beautiful car in my opinion, but it did feature the most handling, and I like my cars with a lot of handling. But as I soon learned, the car has no top speed whatsoever. It has some speed of course, but I wouldn't call it top. Do we have another hattrick on our agenda for today? I certainly hope so. That stuff is wonderful to boost my already enormous ego. First race, and I start on the last row, position 11. This race features some long straights but also some nasty corners. Where will that put my all-handling rally monster? I have no idea, but let's first witness the chaos of turn 1. I get blocked by a driver door which stops me dead in my track, and when I wanted to start again I got blocked by a teammate. Not a very good start. I can pass 2 driver doors, which allows me to help point the teammate in the right direction. His Porsche is sliding all over the place, which is exactly why I prefer my cars with lots of handling. That allows me to pass him. And in the next couple of corners I can pass a lot of other cars, as I can maintain a higher speed through the corners and do not have to brake as much. The only downside to this is that I have to weave my way through the pack in these corners, and that is often easier said than done. And sometimes you get to visit the wall because of this, a major problem in online races. Not so much in these adventures, luckily. Of course, relying too much on the handling will still be a problem, as you can witness in this corner. Now we are heading towards the straight, where I start in 5th place. Not only does my car not have any top speed, it also seems very slidey on this wet tarmac, which surprised me, which caused me to ever so slightly clip the wall, which ever so slightly cost me all of my momentum, which I already lacked. A small visit to the countryside to get myself a Christmas tree caused me to slow down even further. The long straight caused me to lose only 1 position, even with all of my mistakes, and they were plentiful. A position which was easily taken back in the 90-degree corner. Hooray for handling tunes! 1 more corner and we're back on a dirt section, which is far better suited for my car and my tune. This is something I have not witnessed in this degree before. A car that can be driven very well on dirt but has some serious problems on wet tarmac. Very strange. And as I said, it can be driven very well on dirt. I did not say I was doing just that. The teammate behind me is still right on my tail. Nevertheless, we're also catching up to the leading pack. I feel I can take on this Porsche right in front of me. I can gain on him, and in this next corner I want to get the cutback on him, but his go shifting shifts me out of a checkpoint. And I was both too stunned and too confused to find the correct button, so I just let the game auto reset me. There goes my 4th place. I will finish in the exact same position as I started in, and that would be position 11. And this only because someone decided to quit the race. Now all of you should feel very sorry for me. Press F for respect. I mean it, all of you should leave an F in the comments to pay your respect. Now, thanks to the fact we had 2 people at the very top of the leaderboard and someone in the middle, we still got to win this race. So we do have our first championship point. Only one more required to win this Solstice Showdown. And the showdown part of this trial has already delivered me my bullet, so let's hope the next race goes a bit smoother. First race up is now the Moorhead Rally Trail, where I start in the middle of the pack of the human players. This race starts with a lot of tarmac and probably also wet. Not ideal for my car as it turned out. I just hope I can keep it under control. Off we go. And one of the drivatars had too much to drink on his Christmas party and is still as drunk as a skunk. The other drivatar went to the same party, I think. Both are flailing around, putting their arms in the air like they just don't care. They caused mayhem to most everybody, but I got through cleanly. A bit of redemption for what they did to me in the previous race, I guess. A teammate got past me in the corner, and as I feared he would push me off the road, I let him pass. Not that I would have been able to prevent him from passing me, but it did cost me some momentum. Not enough to lose more positions, as I can hold on to this position for quite some time, which leaves us some time to quickly shift our attention to the tune I am using. It is created by Russo Nazarov and is called A800 Season RAL. Not enough characters will do that to you. It features only 6.1 speed, but the rest makes up for this. 8.0 for handling, 9.7 for acceleration, 10 for launch, and an 8.5 for braking. As I mentioned, it is somewhat slippery on wet tarmac, but very good on dirt. Drive it carefully and it is a very good tune. Meanwhile, back in the race, I am still in the same position. A teammate close behind and the leading pack not that far ahead. We all have similar pace and we all more or less keep the same places, the same distances from one another. The 90-degree corner is coming up and I want to make sure I can make it, so I brake slightly just before the bump. That brings me a tad bit closer to the leading pack, but I can't seem to shake off my pursuer. And now we're on tarmac. I have to be careful. I can't seem to even get my car to straighten up properly. But I can keep it under control. Then the two drivatars do a little toast, slightly pinging their cars against one another. That allows me to pass one of them. Mud Kicker Spark. Easy to kick too much mud on this section, which results in one kicking his own head for the way they drove their car. Or maybe the way the strange physics sometimes work in this game, as especially over here it does not necessarily have to be the fault of the driver. But I get a clean run. This time around anyway. The leaders went through the deep end of the water. Never a good idea, but I can't immediately capitalize on this as I was stuck behind the drivatar. Now the drivatars do what they always do near the end. They slow down and I can capitalize on that. Now all that remains to be done is keep the car under control while keeping the drivatar at bay until I cross the finish line. And I managed to do both, so that results in a second place for me. Not too shabby for your average player, and for sure a far better result than my last place in the previous race. But will it be enough to get another championship point? It looks like we are coming short. But as the last two cars cross the finish line, things shift in our favor. That too was probably a failed brake check from the drivatar, which cost them their victory for this race. We get a second championship point and a certain victory for the Solstice Showdown. Oh boy, you must be getting tired of hearing this one. I tried to avoid it by missing a checkpoint in the first race. Nah, that's not true. But here we go. Last race is for honor only. There, I said it again. Now let's quickly shift our attention to the last race of this trial. And for that one we go to the Astmore Rally Trail. another point-to-point race. We did not have one circuit race this time around, only point-to-point races. I start on the last row once more. Let's hope this does not represent my finishing position like it did in the first race. Let's hope I can avoid missing any checkpoints and that I can keep my car in check. If I manage to do that, I might get a decent result. It starts with a road section and it starts with drivatars doing their drivatar stuff. I'm not entirely sure what that is exactly, but I do know what it is not. And that is driving like a normal human being. On the other hand, if you've ever been in online races in Forza Horizon 4, you might see human players drive like that as well. So maybe they're more human than we'd like to admit. As long as they're not taking over the world, I'm fine with it. I think the world would look like a very strange place if these drivatars would take control. But in this time of year, in the spirit of this peaceful period, let's not dwell on that for too long. Would be funny though. Scary as hell, but still funny. I'm in 5th place, which is not funny. I should try to advance a little, try to make it to the top. I want to be the star on the Christmas tree. My enormous ego demands this, especially after the blundering first race. I need redemption. And I might find it on this twisty section of the race. This should really be in my favor. My handling monster should excel over here. I just need to handle my handling monster. But can I handle the pressure? I went up 2 places. 2 more to catch up to. The headlights that came flashing by indicate that someone did not handle that corner all too well, just as I did not handle the bridge too well. I clipped an indestructible part of the bridge and all of my momentum fell down the Christmas tree. By the time I could collect it again, a teammate flew by on his speeding sleigh. I think I even saw Rudolph. Back down to 4th place, but another twisty section coming up. This garland part of the Christmas race will have to go in my favor if I want to end up on the podium for this race. We see the headlights from my pursuer. Can I keep it together this time? The corner allows me to catch up and I am going neck to neck with a teammate. Only one way to do this as I'm on the outside, and that is go for the cutback, which I execute nicely. The move, not the teammate. This is the jolly season after all. So let me join the leader in wishing all of you happy holidays. I am on the podium. My ego is more or less appeased. But let's see if we can squeeze some more out of this. Will the drivatar slow down again as we are approaching the end? Will I get a better run towards the finish line than him? I am slowly gaining on him, and as we bump our way onto the tarmac for the final sprint, I can just avoid him and sneak past as he indeed slows down. If he would not have done that, it would have been a very close call. The leader was never under any threat for me, but I did manage to get another 2nd place in this race. Honor somewhat defended. 11th place in the first race, but twice a 2nd place thereafter. So in the end, still decent. And with a major victory in points, the human team gets all 3 championship points. That means we get a nice little Christmas present in the form of a Lancia Stratos High Fidelity Stradale. Almost the end of the video, like it is almost the end of the year. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment. Remember the F to pay respect. Press the thumbs up if you liked it, and I bid you farewell. And of course, a wonderful end of the year, and I hope to see you in my next video. A goodbye.